All good books are alike, in that they are truer than if they had really happened. And after you have finished reading one, you'll feel that all that happened to you. And afterwards, it belongs to you. The good and the bad, the ecstasy, remorse and sorrow, the people and the places and how the weather was. If you can get so that you can give that to people, then you're a writer.
Open, close, previous, open, close. You don't need to repeat this. There is not any ceremony anymore. Everyone is gone, and you say this out loud to yourself. You were alone at the time, and the time now is always.
When our grandpapa committed suicide, you surprised by it?
No.
What?
Once years ago, way back in the 30s, he said to me, "Have you ever wanted to commit suicide?" And I said, "Hasn't everybody?" And he said, "Let's make a pact." And I said, "What?" And he said, "That you'll never commit suicide without calling me first, and I never will without calling you first." And I said, if I ever got to the point where I was going to commit suicide, I wouldn't have time to call anybody. And that was the end of the conversation.
I can honestly say that I knew that he was somebody we didn't see very much of, and that he was somebody that was important. For some reason, I had no idea. I only remember sitting on his lap and looking up at a big, huge guy, sort of, and being kind of scared, I guess. It was an accident for years, and I always defended that it was an accident. And people would say, no, it was suicide. And I said, no, it wasn't. It was an accident, you know. So I sort of found out on my own. I don't really know how. I guess just probably grew up a little bit more and figured it out for myself.
You see, this film cannot be a judgment. It has to be a trip into adventure. It's not a film about him. It's a film about finding about him. You know, it's more so. It's a film about the catharsis of Margaux. I love Margaux very much, and it was very sad for me what happened to her. Very, very sad. She was with me a month before it happened. She went to Margarita. My daughter called me from Los Angeles, and she said, "Dad, you have to call the hospital because she's got a depression." So I called at the hospital, spoke with her, and she said that she was feeling very depressed, that she, because the director of the show that she was working in said that when he was focusing her eyes, she had the eyes in the no zone or something. You know, she looked spaced out. And I said, don't worry about what the director tells you. He's an asshole anyway. Come to Margarita, and we'll be at the beach, and we can discuss it there. And I knew that, you know, if she stayed in L.A., it was going to get worse. Because she was by herself. I mean, L.A., man, it can be a dreadful city if you're by yourself. You have no family, no friends. And in Margarita, she was running 4 miles every morning, taking, not drinking at all. She was in perfect shape. I was very happy to see her so strong and so beautiful. In a way, she wanted to escape But in another way, she really liked the big cities, and she liked New York, the New York scene. She loved to be applauded and loved by the people and signing autographs.
I mean, I grew up as a Hemingway kid, you know. And I grew up in Ketchum, Idaho, which is a great, healthy place to be able to grow up in. But I got out quick, and I used what I had. I used the name Hemingway. I left with my pickup truck and split to New York, and within 6 weeks I got the Fabergé contract, and then my father sees me on the cover of Time magazine. Well, my dad was wrong.
A very shy person, very innocent, totally innocent. I mean, she believed that everybody was beautiful and everybody was nice.
I knew a man, his name was Bill. Lived on top of a Cardigan Hill, never took a bath and never will. Ding, dirty old Bill. Ow! In the middle of Paris.
And her love was absolutely upfront, man. A real cowboy, I mean, I tell you. That's what I fell in love with, this trait of her. This, like a pure, like a, you know, when you have a diamond and it's uncut, an uncut diamond. Beautiful.
There's never any ending to Paris, and the memory of each person who has lived in it differs from that of any other. We always return to it, no matter who we were or how it was changed or with what difficulties or ease it could be reached. Paris was always worth it, and you received return for whatever you brought to it. But this was how Paris was in the early days, when we were very poor and very happy.
When we were in Paris and we were seeing all the hangouts of Hemingway, then this idea started.
Très bien, merci. Et vous?
Très, très bien.
Well, aujourd'hui, I get to visit with Monsieur Chirac.
Un merveilleux maire.
And I said, well, okay, the only way we can finance our traveling is doing all you looking for Grandpapa's hideouts, the hangouts, okay?
I didn't want to do it at first. I thought it was a terrible idea.
You know that the pollution is eating up all the statues and all the buildings. And they have to, I don't know, every so often they have to just sand it down.
Basically, it was paper thin to go to the places where Grandpapa was with my dad and his mother, his first wife, Hadley, my grandmother, and to all the places as a tour. And it was just to go there and find out and to give the people through my eyes
Thank you
what
very
was
much for
happening
coming
in
here.
Paris.
I'm
in
sorry being
20s.
late, but had a
You're
problem.
allowed to do so.
How are you?
Mr. John Johnson,
Pleasure to meet you.
the mayor of this beautiful city.
Each time I meet her, she's nicer. I don't know how she does that, but she's more beautiful each time I have the opportunity and pleasure to meet.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I love you.
Well, first, I am not a good judge because I am a fan of Hemingway. I think he has been one of the most fantastic authors of the modern times. And I think it was a great, great privilege for Paris to have in its history for, well, may I say 10 years about Hemingway living here. If you are going in the streets, just walking along the Seine, around Montparnasse, which he liked so much, well, everywhere, to be frank. And if you stop people and ask, do you know Hemingway, you have 90% of chance.
Margaux and I, we enjoyed life profoundly, and it was like love at first sight, and we just went kaboom, and it was unstoppable. And the next thing I knew, she was coming down with her luggages and everything to Caracas, and I was married. And we didn't even kiss or anything like that. And the whole thing just got very scandalous.
And he is what we call in French, but I don't know how to translate that, a monstre sacré. Well, a kind of a sacred monster. Kind of a monstre sacré.
In Paris, I'm almost certain that I knew subconsciously that something was happening to me.
I am not sure that the majority of people, citizens in Paris, knows that he is an American. He is an international man. And I say he is not felt as a link, he's felt as a tremendous man. One of the, as we say in French, témoins, you say that, of our time, a witness of our time, and one of the most important.
People loved her. Wonderful. She had a great sense of humor. I mean, really, she was a comedian.
I knew him first in 1928.
Bertin, tell me, did Grandpapa drink a lot?
I don't know. I'm not here to see that, I'm just here to serve the drinks and then to realize if you have too many or not enough. Place where you are was his place, every morning before going to the races, and then he never had other thing than martini and once a while a scotch.
She was an angel when she wouldn't drink. The moment she started drinking, man, you would just get out of there. I get out of Dodge because she would really become very strong-tempered. She acted for attention all the time. She's like, if you didn't give her attention at all moments, it's like a brat. So you had to be focused on her all the time, and I didn't have time to read, to do anything.
Margaux.
So good to see you.
You're on time. Almost.
I'm always on time, darling.
I wish that were true.
It is true. I'm here.
Okay.
Just have a drink.
And what I get a thrill out of is meeting you in your grandpa's real haunts. Have you noticed what they call this bar now? It's rather good. In my day, they called it just the Campbell side. Now it's Hemingway. Come on, let's have a drink.
Good timing.
Yeah, who cares?
Really, at that point, you don't get it.
He was a sort of a superstitious guy, too.
Yeah.
He carried a rabbit's foot. And I had a Catholic medal. I know I wasn't a Catholic. And he says, you're right. You need one of everything, because one of them may work.
Right.
I was fascinated with this man, He was a great conversationalist. And, in a certain sense, the war brought out the best in him.
Yeah.
He had an outlet for all of his energy, which was enormous. This was his third war. And you think of it, and out of all three of them came big books. Think of it. He's about 19 for World War I, and out of that comes Farewell to Arms. All right? 15 years later, he's in the Spanish War, For Whom the Bell Tolls. And now we're, say, 6 or 8 years later, and out of that comes Across the River and Into the Trees. So, it's very right to talk about him in terms of war. It was such a big piece of his life. Ernest was working for Collier's, which was an old bi-weekly magazine that no longer exists, but it was hot stuff in those days. He had a terribly nice contract that only had to do only a limited number of stories, but they'd be big stories, so he might have, 2 months to work on a story. Well, I was working for Time and Life, and I had to file a story every week. He saved my life once. Do you want to know that one?
Yes, I would love to.
All right, this is well after capture of Paris, like November. And we're with an outfit up on the German frontier, and the fighting was really rough. Half the people we knew were dead. He's sitting in the front of the Jeep. I'm in the back with the driver. He hears a noise, and he just shrieks, "Halt, stop," right away, and jump. The three of us did it, down to a ditch. And 1-2 seconds later, a German plane came down from the sky and stitched our Jeep right up the middle. And we were lying down in a deep ditch that is sort of snow and mud. And I regret to say that his poundage was half on top of me. And the first thing I said was, "Ernest, would you please roll over?" He rolled over, but as he did it, he reached behind him and took his canteen, and he took a drink out of it and passed it to me. I knew it was not going to be water. It was a martini. Would you believe it? He had a whole canteen full of martinis. He liked men of action.
Yeah.
And Ernest had an absolute facility for collecting people around him in a way, and interesting people, weird people. Some of them were just looking for leaders, and you know, they found Ernest. The combination was almost fatal. It's true, too.
But what happened?
Well, I don't know the exact details, but there were certainly 2 or 3 controversial days when he was accused of giving orders, military orders, to this ragtag group to set up little operations, mostly sort of scouting expeditions, all headed toward Paris to try to figure out what roads are open and what's the best way to move troops.
Did he pull it off?
Well, he didn't get into real final trouble. I don't think that he was a key to the capture of Paris. No, he didn't pull it off. You see, American troops did not move into the city. Only a French division did, out of politesse.
What is politesse?
Well, just politeness.
Politeness. Yeah. Politesse, okay.
It's their capital. They should liberate it. So we come in with French troops. But as we got to the outskirts of Paris, the entire population was out and screaming. And they were throwing things at us. I got hit in the face by a jelly sandwich someone was giving to me.
Peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah, absolutely. They thought those crazy Americans, that's what they want. And then they were thrusting bottles of wine at us. And see, it was just a mound of flowers. Each man chose the part of Paris that he wished to liberate. Ernest found the Ritz. Not a shot was fired because there was no enemy there. But there were a lot of girls.
I'll bet.
And they were out in droves. They wanted us bad, you know.
I'll bet they did.
One did a can-can literally on the hood of my Jeep.
No.
And underneath, she had not one a stitch on. And she threw her skirt over her head, and guess what had been painted red, white, and blue.
Oh my God.
You're right. It's the
Oh
only
my
time
I went there nearly every day for the saisons, to see the Manets and the Monets. I was learning something from the painting of Cézanne that made writing simple, true sentences far from enough to make the stories have the dimensions that I was trying to put in them. I was learning very much from him, but I was not articulate enough to explain it to anyone. Besides, it was a secret.
I think that, you know, all this thing about girls being skinnier nowadays is terrible. Look at that. Don't you think they were more exciting before?
much more, huh? But
She's thin.
But
Well,
it's,
in my book, she's thin.
but I say two's company, three's a crowd.
With all my heart, I love Bill Walton, and he was the one that, he was so specific. And then you have the three people, another triangle.
Right.
And back there you have the depth of a square.
Another.
And an oblong there.
You got it. And they all intersect, too.
To make one
Sure.
full.
Was Manet. He came right out of Greco and the Spaniards and skipped a lot of triangles, cubes,
Squares.
and creating distance with those is the key to one of his great paintings.
It's the light coming through the trees.
Yes, but look at this. He was influenced maybe as much by the painters of his time as he was by the writers of his time.
Where else, Cézanne?
Well, here's Cézanne on both sides, but I want to look at one of these still lifes.
I mean, I love onion sandwiches.
So he did forever.
Oh, Grandpapa did?
Absolutely. Listen, what I remember.
Onion and garlic sandwiches with sweet butter.
We had them for breakfast.
Yum. I'm hungry.
I am right now.
I may have an onion sandwich for lunch.
Okay, can we have two?
Okay, this is as long as we're together.
This is a very beautiful expression of what Impressionism is. It is, don't you see
Falling in love again.
it? You're falling in love with Impressionism, not me.
Well, I love it.
But you came with an eye, an inherited eye.
I'm not a writer by any means, but I mean, I'm a painter. I'm still going through the stage of trying to figure myself out, like I suppose everybody does.
Margaux felt insecure about her career as an actress because she was very hurt by the film of Lipstick. I never thought that she was an actress. She was more of a model of a personality. She should have never got out of this modeling thing trying to be an actress. It destroyed her.
I love the tension, the idea of an unconsummated affair. The scandal is that if a woman knows she has the power to seduce a man and to drive him so crazy that he is destroyed, that's pretty scandalous in any day and age, I think. It's not really a matter of whether or not she hops into bed with him, because I have a feeling that Brett, what she did, one of the lovely things in the book was that Brett was capable of making men believe that they were more wonderful than they even hoped to be. So she elevated them in their own mind's eye and somehow kind of turned them on that way by making them love themselves and feel very good about being with them. And then she just dropped them dead.
You're giving all the secrets away. Nice to meet you.
Decided not to play her completely drunk all the time. I don't think she's ever an embarrassment when she gets drunk. I think she's always a wonderful drunk. So I think she's always very poised and lethal. So why are you not playing Lady Brett? This is what I'm interested in.
Really?
The insecurity would lead to depression, all right? And then depression is like a very vicious circle. The depression would lead to drinking. Drinking would lead to more depression. And there was no escape. She never was remorseful of anything. But she didn't have to be. And when she was lying, she didn't know it. She was lying in a way that she believed it was true.
So you live day by day and enjoy what you have and do not worry. You lie and hate it, and it destroys you, and every day is more dangerous. But you live day to day as in a war.
I lost my identity because she was a very strong personality, and the heritage of the name was so strong that as a movie director and everything, I just totally lost my personality. Meanwhile, I was with her. I was not anymore Bernard Foucher. I was the husband of Margaux, right?
You think that's a tough town, sir? It's an oil town, a nice town. But I don't think it's tough, sir, or ever was. Okay, Jackson, maybe we move in different circles, or maybe we have a differing definition for the word. But this town of Venice, with everybody being polite and having good manners, is as tough as Cook City, Montana, on the day they have the old-timers fish fry. He started to write, and he forgot about Catherine and what he saw from the window. And the writing went by itself, as it did with him when he was lucky. He wrote it exactly, and the sinister part always showed as the light feathering of a smooth swell on a calm day, marking the reef beneath.
We were supposed to go to a dinner that they were giving us, some people that knew Hemingway, in a palacio or a palace somewhere. So I thought that the production had arranged everything and that the boat where we're going to go to the palace knew where the palace was, right? We're getting to that boat, and after we're half an hour going around, I said to the guy, "Where's the palace?" He says, "What palace?" So we got off. I got so furious that I get off the boat in one of those canals, and here we are in the middle of Venice looking for some name of a palace, asking people where's the palace of such and such was, you know. And people don't know, and time goes by, and we arrived at 9:30 at night, and Jacques was totally furious. Everybody was pissed because we got lost, and everybody said that we did it on purpose. Here's to getting lost in Venice, right?
Here's to the party that I'm giving.
Hey, gracias.
That's not a daughterly kiss. We have a saying in our family. We thought you were making love with the Don. I was thinking so.
It's 7:30 now, so I better stop this and get to work. I hope you'll like this book. You know Venice, it's about Venice, and it seems very simple unless you know what it's all about.
The first thing is that the magic is not there anymore. We start looking at each other like it's a painful experience to have to wake up every morning next to the other because we're not in love anymore, okay? Either her or me or both. And then in Spain, it became direct confrontation. It became tough. We were like on different, at war. Before the film, the things were much easier, were perfect. But I think that this film really did us in.
SOS. Clappers.
I know that the night is not the same as the day, that all things are different, that the things of the night cannot be explained in the day because they do not then exist. And the night can be a dreadful time for lonely people once their loneliness has started.
It was such an emotional time because Bernard and myself, I mean, basically we were on the absolute outs. We were arguing. I was with, this is not very, well, I lost respect, without a doubt, all respect for him, which is not really a nice thing to say, but I'm being absolutely honest with you. I mean, it's a terrible thing to say about anybody, but the guy was jealous of, that's when I knew when Bernard was jealous of Ernest Hemingway.
Never bring your wife to Pamplona. The odds are all in favor of her getting ill, hurt, or wounded, or at least jostled, or wine squirted over her, or losing her, or maybe all three. It's a man's fiesta, and women at it make trouble. Never intentionally, of course. But if she adores continual noise and music and loves fireworks, especially those that fall close to her or burn her clothes, if she doesn't catch cold when she's rained on, and appreciates dust, likes disorder, and never needs to sleep, and still keeps clean and neat without running water, then bring her. You'll probably lose her to a better man than you.
Hemingway's totally overrated.
Why do you think that?
Because, I don't know, I'm getting crazy. Too many, I don't understand. Too much booze, too much people, too much confusion.
I'm not going to apologize for bullfighting. It is a survival of the days of the Roman Colosseum, but it does need some explanation. Bullfighting is not a sport. It was never supposed to be. It is a tragedy. A very great tragedy. The tragedy is the death of the bull. Up in Pamplona, where they've held 6 days of bullfighting each year since 1126 AD, and where the bulls race through the streets of town each morning at 6 o'clock, with half the town running ahead of them. Pamplona, where every man and boy in town is an amateur bullfighter, and where there's an amateur fight each morning that's attended by 20,000 people, in which the amateur fighter is full of alcohol. And there's a casualty list, at least equal to a Dublin election.
It's senseless. It's, I don't know. They're really a bunch of retards here.
They're getting them mad. They're hitting them with sticks. I think we can.
He caught all those animals that are hanging on the street.
But do you still hunt yourself? Are you still shooting?
Yes. But you know, time and time I feel I feel, how you say, pena. I don't like to kill deers.
Not anymore.
No, now. It's
Well,
difficult for me.
I think you got it out of your
I
system.
do when I don't have...
Did Grandpapa follow you around on your bullfighting
¿Te ha
circuit?
seguido Hemingway?
Sí, estuvo un par de años que venía conmigo a muchas corridas.
A couple of years that he followed him, he watched him fight. Especially during the time of when he was fighting with Antonio Ordóñez, during that time. The time of the dangerous summer.
No, pero antes.
What was the dangerous summer?
That was the last summer when Papa followed Antonio Ordóñez around and Luis Miguel.
I understand your relationship with Grandpapa was pretty fiery, up and down.
Ha dicho, las relaciones tuyos con Hemingway han sido tempestuosos.
Pues sí, porque chocábamos dos personalidades quizá muy fuertes.
Yes, because there were two very strong personalities that obviously came into conflict.
Bueno, y Papa estaba acostumbrado un poco a tener alrededor gente que sí le decía que sí a todo.
He said, and also Papa was used to having around him a group of people that said yes to everything.
Y a mí me pasaba un poco igual.
And you too?
He had the same experience.
And so you guys said no to each other.
Entonces no nos poníamos de acuerdo. Seguimos siendo amigos porque teníamos muchos puntos en contacto, como era la caza, como era la pesca, como eran las mujeres y los toros. Son 4 puntos en los cuales,
They went on being friends,
de los cuales éramos...
despite their altercations, because they had many things in common. Shooting, fishing, the bulls, and then the mujeres.
And then the mujeres.
the ladies.
A lot of women in common. I mean,
Las mujeres en conjunto.
Las mismas mujeres, no. He came too late.
Fue un poco demasiado tarde para mí.
Luis Miguel Domingiun clava un buen par de banderillas. Requiere luego muleta y estoque para iniciar su faena. Con la derecha y en redondo empieza la tanda de los pases circulares. Se lleva al toro empapado en los pliegues de la franela y agarra después al enemigo. Continúa adornado y valeroso. El desplante de rodillas entusiasma a los espectadores. A la hora de matar clava una gran estocada. Descabella al primer intento. El público pide la oreja del astado que el alguacilillo entrega al diestro.
Bueno, la primera cornada en un torero, el bautismo de sangre, te produce una gran alegría, sobre todo cuando eres muy joven.
He says that the baptism of blood, that the first cornada that you get, the first wounding that you get when you're young, fills you with great happiness because you really feel that you've come into your profession that you're...
Sí, yo la tuve a los 14 años.
He had it when he was 14 years old.
Entonces, ya me creía que era un hombre.
Then he already thought then that he
en
was...
cambio, ahora lo dudo, ¿eh? Ahora lo dudo.
Now he's not so sure.
We're sure. Aren't there 2 women bullfighters now?
Dos chicas toreando ahora. What do you
Bueno,
think?
yo creo que la mujer tiene muchos sitios y especialmente algunos que no hace falta nombrar donde está mejor que en una plaza de toros.
He says ladies' place, women have their place, and there are many places for the ladies or women, certainly that are more appropriate than the bull ring. Maybe you some kind of future.
You tried.
You tried.
No, I don't want to, not after what you said. You gotta have that one, didn't I?
You know where your place is.
I know where my place is. I wish I'd read Death in the Afternoon more thoroughly.
Bien, bien. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go.
Yeah. I think I got scared.
You know now why I fight with your grandfather.
Yeah, I know why he's fighting. I was starting to understand. You know how when you make yourself, you can make yourself more scared than you really are. Or you can make yourself more brave than you really are. And I'm wondering, okay, then the question will come up, well, what do you think about your grandfather? Do you think he made himself more brave than he really was? I tell you, the older you get, I think people have the tendency, obviously, to get more scared of things. But I tell you, I made myself more scared than I should have been. And I'm pissed off at myself. Well, you were in the war with Daddy. You told me a great story about
Daddy got captured. Daddy being your father.
Dad.
Yeah, I was in the same outfit as your father. Only I got there 2 weeks after he was in the German prisoner of war camp, unfortunately.
You guys were in the OSS, right?
We were in the OSS, and your father, true to Hemingway heroes, parachuted into France with a fishing pole, a trout fishing pole.
Of course. Great style, boys.
You know, I really have to be cornered to respond. I don't challenge life every 5 minutes. I don't try to outdrink my liver, or outfuck my cock, or outdo my friends.
Hemingway, Hemingway, Hemingway,
What about the history of Pamplona? Historia
¿De Pamplona?
La Feria de Pamplona.
Bueno, a mí no me interesa la Feria de Pamplona.
Miguel says he personally never liked the Feria of Pamplona.
Porque a mí, primero, no me gustan los borrachos.
The first place, he doesn't like drunks.
A mí me gusta ser yo el borracho.
He likes to be drunk himself.
No me gusta que me den la lata a los borrachos.
He doesn't like to be bored by other drunks.
Me gusta dar la lata yo a los demás.
He likes to bore the others. Also, it's bad for the bullfighter, because the public is drunk. They don't know what's going on. They don't really see it, and more so now than in the times of Pablo.
I felt totally unwanted. Okay, I felt that the woman with whom I was married was a total stranger. I felt like I became somebody else, that it wasn't me. And if I was watching myself from the distance, I was acting out of emotions that were totally foreign to my own self. I admire Hemingway very much. He was much stronger than me, and then it's an incredible person. Personally, I love animals. I love kids. I love nature. I love laughs. I love life. And to see, for example, bulls being massacred with crowd in total hysteria and the place smelling like piss and vomit, you know, it's not my kind of fun. I don't like it.
The fiesta was really started. It kept up day and night for 7 days. The dancing kept up, the drinking kept up, the noise went on. Everything became quite unreal finally, and it seemed as though nothing would have any consequences.
Pamplona. ¿Te diviertes? Ahora no. Now I like it.
Just as he came out, the sun seemed to dazzle him for an instant. He stood as though he were frozen, his great crust of muscle up, firmly planted, his eyes looking around, his horns pointed forward, black and white and sharp as porcupine quills. Then he charged, and as he charged, I suddenly saw what bullfighting is all about. For the bull was absolutely unbelievable. He seemed like some great prehistoric animal, absolutely deadly and absolutely vicious. And he was silent. He charged silently and with a soft galloping rush. When he turned with his 4 feet like a cat. When he charged, the first thing that caught his eye was a picador on one of the wretched horses.
Dedicated the bull to you, Mark.
Professor.
It became fantastic. It became like we got into another world. It's like if somebody else was controlling the whole, was controlling me, was controlling Margaux, the whole thing.
I care a lot for Bernard, but God, I think he got afraid of me being too much like him. And then knew that he couldn't stop it. So he was left. I left him behind, told him in Pamplona, this is it, finito la commedia. Means finish with the comedy. Your comedy, leave, go. And that was it.
Nobody spoke about divorce. I said, I'm out of here. And she said, well, it's fine with me, man. I said, you're sure? You don't want to change? No, I'm fine like I am. You better go. So, well, goodbye. And that was it.
The reason why I went home after shooting all this is because, as my father said, and as I say, I'm a lousy loner. I don't like being alone. I like being with somebody, and I like having adventure with somebody. You see, I'm absolutely in love with my father. My mother too, but I mean, it's a different thing with your mother. But, I think the main reason to do this project, or for me, in my heart, it was to become closer to my dad. Because what we did when growing up as a kid, I mean, all we did was whistle in the car. We never really talked. And I was never told Grandpapa stories.
even when you have learned not to look at families, nor listen to them, and have learned not to answer letters. Families have many ways of being dangerous.
I know I wore my baggies to match you. Did you go hunting?
Yeah.
How are you? How are you? You great. You too. Wait till I sit down with you and let you know what's going on. What?
I said she's the prodigal daughter.
What'd she say? I didn't say anything. Mother, you're doing really well. Oh, I know. Why don't you eat that cheese and be quiet?
I didn't get my napkin.
Nice to see you all. Giving me a hard time again.
We're not giving you a hard time. We're just going to sit on you.
No, we're not going to. But you promise it's not going to be the loud family 10 decibels and above normal.
No, yes, always. It's just, it'll be fun. We'll have a good time. We really will. It's going to be great.
I'll get you down to 30 pounds.
Okay. I'll play indoor tennis with you anytime you want. Like.
What do you hear from Bernard?
From who? Well, I think he called the crew here.
From Bernard.
He's in Florida.
He's in Florida? Mm-hmm. Well, he's not in Venezuela.
He's in Florida, working, I guess, coffee, back in the coffee business. And he's supposedly sending me some money, right? Well, we found out this morning.
That's right. When are you going to believe it?
When I get it.
Right. When you see it.
You shouldn't be filming that.
No.
Who drank all this?
I did. You write me a
Love
song.
is a second-hand emotion.
Here's
Cheers! Oh, you can't have it either.
The time goes by and I've learned the mystical things about the genes that are passed down. And I really believe that it's true, and it has scared the HCSHIT shit out of me. I mean, truly. Hold it down.
Welcome.
Buena nota.
Welcome home, baby.
Thank you, baby.
Oh, God, are we going to have a picture? I take a terrible picture.
Would you like to know the name of the fly I'm tying, Margaux?
I was just about to ask you, what kind of fly are you tying, Daddy?
This is a steelhead tie of an Atlantic salmon pattern that, believe it or not, I invented. Now, you're supposed to ask me its name.
I was just about to.
Oh, are you?
What's the name of the fly that you're tying, Daddy?
You just stepped into the major trap of the evening. The name of this fly is the Moisey cock teaser. And before you think that's dirty, I just want you to know that it's not. Because in salmon, there are two kinds of fish, cockfish and henfish. And when you're trying, salmon don't take because they eat. They take because, they're enticed into it. So essentially you're teasing them. So it so happens that this particular pattern, I caught 4 cockfish in a row, so it's called the cock teaser. Makes sense to me.
So Moisey?
That's on the Moisey River, which is one of the best salmon rivers in the world.
Sounds pretty moisey to me.
It's a regular Moisey cockteaser, except that I added a little Philip underneath the wing to kind of make it more exciting to our finny friends.
Good. Can I have it?
No, I'm going to be using it in a couple of weeks. If I catch a fish on it, I'll send it to you. Okay?
That's the deal.
On the other hand, you have to write and let me know where you are. Otherwise, I can't.
You'll know.
Billy, will you pass the Beaujolais, please?
I got it.
No, he never did. He played tennis with me instead.
He made us do wind sprints.
No, we played a lot of tennis together. He took me all over these tournaments, all over California, every weekend for years and years, and I trained every day. And that was his sport for me. I was kind of a tomboy anyway, so it fit in pretty well. And then he'd ask me if I had time to have ice cream with him when I wasn't playing with my blocks when I was little.
When you weren't playing with your what?
Yeah, I was playing with my blocks, and he'd come in and say, "My dear, do you have time for an ice cream?" And I thought he was the most wonderful man in the whole world. He was great.
I didn't know Daddy used to take you for ice cream. I'm so jealous. You were sent away to a lot of boarding schools?
Yeah, but that was after Mamie and Grandpapa they were divorced when I was 3. And he'd met Pauline, who was Patrick's and Gregory's mother, and fallen in love with her. And Mamie at first was very badly let down, of course. But
wasn't he the first to leave?
What?
Wasn't Mamie the first to leave?
Women always wonder who was the first to leave.
I don't.
That's bull manure.
Okay. Everybody wants to know.
Papa fell in love with somebody else. It's as simple as that. And as a matter of fact, she spent a great deal of time, being my mother's best friend. Always beware of your best friend. Hadley, your grandmother, was 8 years older than Papa, and he remembers her at her very, very best. And I think, that as wonderful as Papa was a creative person, he certainly wasn't easy to live with. And in fact, I don't think anybody who spends a great deal of time alone and trying to create is very easy to live with.
I mean, he was never really...
he was not good at being alone.
Yeah.
No. I think that you're very much like him in that sense. You're not good at being alone either.
When are you going to play tennis with me?
Yeah, I'll play any time. I want you to stay, and I'd play tennis with you every day.
Well,
great.
so far it's been 3 days, and every morning it's like that on me. Well, I can't. You guys eat something?
If you play at 9 o'clock in the morning, Margaux, it's icy out there. You freeze to death. The ball won't even bounce.
If I have a good friend, I can leave him today and not see him for 2 years, and then come in, or they come into wherever I am. You see him, I feel like I just, they were just there. If they're my good friends, and I don't have to explain where I've been, and if they're my good friends, they don't ask for an explanation, or vice versa. And I think that's real friendship. I think this thing where you're jealous of other people's time all the time is kind of,
Yeah. That's terrible. There are not many of those around.
No. Unfortunately not.
There are not many of those around.
No. You're right.
How many do you have?
None.
Me neither. Yeah, can we count each other as one?
I got to count
no.
every minute.
Oh, gosh.
Palier de la table ronde, goûtons voir si le vin est bon. Palier de la table ronde, goûtons voir si le vin est bon. Goûtons voir, oui, oui, oui. Goûtons voir, non, non, non. Goûtons voir si le vin est bon. Goûtons voir, oui, oui, oui. Goûtons voir, non, non, non. Goûtons voir si le vin est bon.
You know where I learned that song?
Where?
In prison camp from a French Foreign Legion officer.
You know where I learned that song?
Yeah. Hey, Buzz. Come here. close to the bird cover. I want you right close to me so if something happens, you can do something good. What I don't want is to be shot in the back like Macomber.
Yes, I know, Dad. Okay, Dad. 1 second. My ears are all plugged up.
Well, you just have to swallow. That's the only thing that will help. If you get all the way here, I give you a drink of water. It's tough country. Puzzle! Bye, Mark. Run as fast as you can.
Yes, I know, Dad.
I thought Papa had extremely good taste in women. He really did. And, until the end. And, no, I thought Pauline was a wonderful woman. She was not as intriguing to me as Martha Gellhorn, who to me is just, she's a magic person, you know. She herself is a creative person. And she was beautiful, romantic, and you know, when I first met her, I was a teenager. I came in on a weekend from my prep school up on the Hudson. She and Papa were already, I guess what's the nice phrase, keeping company, which I think the Time used to say, she was his great and good friend. That's the other, anyway. Whatever. And she just, you know, I said, who's this stunning blonde? Wow, you know. Am I going to get her for a stepmother? Wowie zowie, you know.
Am I going to get her for a stepmother? I know it. That's where the phrase came.
What kind of privileges do you get if you're a stepson?
So long as you keep it in the
I still maintain a close relationship with her.
Well, I
She's
look forward
a really
to
wonderful
her.
lady. You know, Papa married Mary essentially on the rebound from her during the war. She had her own career and she went off and did it, and Papa resented her going, and he went to London, and I think, you know, half of why he married Mary was just to show her Martha. And he was very bitter against Martha, you know, which I think shows actually he probably loved her a lot more than he ever wanted to admit. But then that's neither here nor there. But I think he was a man he wasn't a guy who really slept around a lot.
Did Grandpapa teach you?
Oh, he
Did he teach you how to fish?
He did a very smart thing, which is the opposite of what most fathers who would really like to have their son take up something that they like. Instead of encouraging me to do it, he kept me on the sidelines, and I had to watch. For one whole year, I begged him to go fishing. He just said, no, you can watch, but you have to stay back here, and like that. And I built up such a hunger for fishing that I've never satisfied it yet.
Need help?
Now dip out in the water. This to the left. That's right. Okay, now start working.
Daddy, I don't know what's going on.
Let me check.
Oh, it's not up on the line?
No, but like almost every other cat. Oh, damn it.
You're gonna get trapped then, and then they won't do anything.
I'm gonna touch you.
Keep the fucking thing in your hand. Tight!
Well, never mind. I have to look that up. I can't remember the name
We're
of the
getting too
story.
deep. You know, his mother berated him about the kind of books he was writing when he, when his first books came out. You know, she said, "How could you write such trash?" You know.
And his father, I liked it.
Well, his father went along with his mother. He was, I'm afraid, henpecked, which, by the way, is the name of my other pattern. I've got the Moisey cock teaser, and then there's the Moisey henpecker, which is the one I catch the hen fish on.
Great. Well, you never, I mean, that's the one thing growing up here. I mean, you never, ever had us, you know, read Grandpapa's. I never ever felt like, I never even knew who Ernest Hemingway was. I mean.
I know that the kind of lives that you've chosen are tough on you, because I mean I saw what effect fame had on Papa, both in a positive and negative way, and I think you've all handled that aspect of it, you know, very well. It seemed to me I heard you or Marielle or both of you at some point said, "Don't worry, Daddy, I'll never change." But you do. Sure.
Well, I must say you tie beautiful flies.
Oh, this is the, it's got a brassy wing and a black heart. No.
No, not a black heart.
No.
Daddy,
Let me
that's
put,
just,
no,
Put
I'm
a
just
little
kidding.
red in there.
No, actually, it's got.
And when I found out that he actually killed himself, it didn't come as a great surprise, because I have a theory, which I may be absolutely wrong, but if you can't do what you're best at, if you can't write, he loved life. I mean, if you can't drink anymore, if you can't write in your best hand, which he obviously did, if you can't enjoy love anymore, the love of a woman, the love of the outdoors, I mean, I justify it.
Some took it quietly in two-car garages with the motor running. Some used the native tradition of the Colt or Smith & Wesson, those well-constructed implements that end insomnia, terminate remorse, cure cancer, avoid bankruptcy, and blast an exit from intolerable positions by the pressure of a finger. Their only drawback, the mess they leave for relatives to clean up. Dying was nothing, and he had no picture of it, nor fear of it in his mind. But living was a field of grain blowing in the wind on the side of a hill. Living was a hawk in the sky. Living was an earthen jar of water in the dust of the threshing that the grain flailed out in the chaff blowing. Living was a hill and a valley and a stream with trees alongside it, and the far side of the valley and the hills beyond.